Hey folks, I'm doing another video blog tonight. It was really interesting. I just finished a video blog about seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all things shall be added, and how we so often in our life want these things in our life, and we pray about them and covet them and or whatever, and yet God surprises us with so much more. Well, this message, and it's the same night, but God spoke both of these things to me, is want less, give more. And I can't tell you how many times in my life that I've wanted more, and as a result not been able to give more. It's always put me in a situation where I've had to give less. A great example, as soon as I got out of college, I just had to buy this old historic home. I bought a 6,200 square foot historic home and spent 5 years of my life renovating this home. I mean, sometimes till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'd wake up the next day at 6 o'clock in the morning and do the same. So I finished that house, bought another house and kept that one rented out. And the second house I renovated heavily. The third house I renovated heavily. The fourth house I renovated heavily. And I look at all those times, I was always wanting more, and as a result, I was able to give less. I gave less to my children. I gave less to my wife. I gave less to my church. I gave less in so many different areas because I wanted more. And what I found is, I look back at those times, and I remember my first house, a great example, 6,200 square foot home. I made half of it just absolutely beautiful. And not but 3 years later, the house went in foreclosure, and it sold for $40,000. So this guy took everything I spent 5 laborsome years on and just let it go to pot. And I think I spent 5 years wanting more with that house. And what did it turn out to be? You know, Solomon, in all his splendor and all his majesty and all his wealth, someone just recently told me that Solomon was the wealthiest man in the world ever to this day. That they said his net worth today would be like $2 trillion or some insane amount of money. And he looked back at his life and he had everything. He had fame, he had fortune, and he said everything is meaningless as if chasing after the wind. And that's so true with us. When we seek more, we always end up with less. But when we seek less, we always end up with more. And we always have more opportunity to give, more opportunity to serve. I think of people that I know who have these big fancy homes or big fancy cars, and they're not able to spend time with their children, or not able to relax and go golfing as much, or they're not able to do things that they would enjoy because they're seeking more, and as a result they have less. Does that make sense? So my challenge for you is to think like Solomon. Solomon in all his splendor, after he had everything on the planet, he says everything is meaningless as if chasing after the wind. My challenge for you today, and I'm going to piggyback on the one before where I said seek first His kingdom and His righteousness. My prayer is that you seek less so that God can give you more. But don't seek more, because I promise you will end up with less. It happens all the time. I'm only 43 years old, and I can tell you that that's so true with my life. Every time in my life that I've tried to seek more, I've ended up with less. And my children have paid for it, my wife has paid for it, and so many other areas of my life have paid the consequences because I was seeking more and able to give less. So thanks for watching tonight, and look forward to hearing more. Okay, I haven't come up with a name yet for these video blogs, but thanks for watching. God bless.